Okay, so yes, fonts. Very much like finding your niche, finding the right fonts could be a pretty hard task. There are literally millions of different fonts created every day, and trying to find the best one that communicates the vibe and the feeling that your product or your brand or your niche um, is going for could be kind of challenging. With that being said, there's literally I don't think we have enough time to go through all the different types of fonts. But so I'll just kind of focus on the more popular ones and hopefully kind of understanding some of the use cases for these will help you make a more informed decision when you're trying to choose your fonts, right? Types of fonts. We'll start with serif. This is a very popular font style. It's easily recognizable. They have a feet at the end of each stroke, at the end of each letter. So, I'm sure you've seen it many times. This is an older style font. There is a kind of elegance to it as well, right? It being an older style, the feed is actually trying to emulate, that old school handwriting, just to help with readability. Within this category, there are a number of sub classifications of serifs as well. So there are, old style serif, slab serif is the other one. Transitional serifs, those very popular Times New Roman is a transitional serif as well. So these are generally seen as more, formal fonts. They, like I said, they have elegance. They have a kind of elegance to them. They very readable. They are good for like body copy when you're trying to write like, in a book or a text for a website or something like that. It's very good, easy on the eyes, easy to read. So in terms of use cases, these will be great for magazine covers, big magazine like Time magazine. They use serif fonts, right, and a lot of other big magazine book covers as well. If you have a nice luxury brand and you're trying to put across that nice luxurious theme or feel with your product, it could be a menu, it could be really anything. This is the type of font that you really want to use, right? So that is serif font. So the second category or subcategory of serif is sans serifs. Sans, I think, comes from a French word that means without, and that's exactly what it is. It's without serif, so without the little feet to the end. So they got rid of all the handwritten features that the sans was trying to emulate, and as a result of that, they created a very highly legible, very versatile font that is, great for branding. It's also great for, items to be used on items that you'll be viewed from long distances because it's so readable. There's no swirl or anything to it. So think signage, think banners, think billboards. There are a number of different sans serif fonts. Like people would know Arial. There's a very common one, but a way more popular one that kind of shot up in popularity was the Gotham. Right, Gotham is the name of the font. That was famously used with the Obama campaign, the '08 campaign for the change and the vote and the hope, and that was like a very popular font. And from there, it just kind of shot up in popularity, and a lot of brands and people use it on their signage, because it's so, like I say, it's just clean, modern. It's kind of simple, but it's you have a presence to it as well, right? Helvetica is also a very popular one. I want to say a misconception that like when you're creating a logo, like you should try to use a unique font. And custom fonts is a thing. Big brands also, there are companies dedicated to creating custom fonts for brands, so nobody else can have it. They have this kind of uniqueness about them. But interestingly enough, like Helvetica is one of the most popular fonts around, right? There's a running joke in the design community that this is the only font that designers need. Helvetica being one of the most popular fonts around, and it is used in so many different brands as their logo font. So it's not always a case where, okay, I need to find a completely different font or find a font that nobody else uses, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes that familiar feel or that familiar look that people kind of accustomed to, and you kind of take it and you use it and you kind of spin it in your own way, and you get something that looks really appealing. So all these brands, this is the same font. This is Helvetica. Like I said, it's massively popular from Microsoft, Sky, Motorola. A lot of these big brands, BMW, Target, all of them, it's the same Helvetica font. Like I said, this is a sans serif font. Like I said, it's very versatile, very good for big displays, like I said, signage and logo designs and stuff like that. So the third classification of fonts is script fonts. Right? We all know script fonts. Some people call them cursives. These are also, there are a lot of subcategories in all of these. There are more formal script fonts, and there are more casual ones as well. And there are even some handwritten ones which kind of shot up in popularity lately as people look for that more natural feel, because the handwritten fonts, they don't have that kind of structured, almost design calculated feel to them. They have a more loose, natural type of feel, and as people look for way to come across as more authentic and as more natural, these handwritten fonts kind of shot up in popularity in the last couple of years on social media and so forth. So you'll see this a lot, these days. So these are great for, invitations. Invitations, you see them on book covers a lot as well. You could use them as a little stamp, below your photo. Just like I said, it gives a really personal touch. And so just to recap, there is a wide, I could really continue going to all the different subcategories, but just to recap, so the serif fonts, that's the one with the little feet, those are great for magazines and books and long form copy. So you just kind of think about that when you're trying to decide which fonts you want to use for certain things. Sans serifs, these are the one without the feet at the end. These are extremely versatile, very readable, great for banners and logos. You could also use it in copy at a smaller font size as well. And then there are script fonts. Like I said, these could have a more high-end feel or more old-school feel or more modern feel, depending on the style you want to use. But these are great for like wedding invitation, book covers, stuff like that, just to give it that more handwritten, personal feel to it, right? So it is just really something to consider and think about when you're designing a menu. Like, what do I want the customer to be feeling at this point, right? How do I want this menu to come across? Is it an elegant space and I want things to be elegant? Or is it more of an outdoor space and I want this to be more natural and relaxed?
So Nicole asked the question, can script, and I'm assuming script font, be used for a luxury brand? Can script font be used for a luxury brand?
Yeah, it's all very contextual and finding the right one. Like I said, there are some of them that have a more high-end feel to them, and some of them who have a more not so high-end, like more free-flowing to them. So maybe not those, some higher-end ones. I'm sure you could find a way, and maybe coupling it with a serif font alongside that would give you the kind of high-end feel for the luxury feel that you're looking for. So definitely. An important thing to note when it comes to these fonts, it really depends on the much like with a logo. I didn't hit on this last week when we were talking about colors, but much like with a logo, you will very rarely see the font in isolation when it comes to the brand. You will see it in context on a nice piece of paper or a nice piece of clothing. So if you're going for luxury and you have items that look luxurious and you find the right script cursive font and you put it on there, it will play the part. Right? So it's not to say that it's hardwired, this is what you must use all the time. This is just a guideline, but there is room for exploration and to experiment.
So it says, thank you, because I was looking for a luxury but cozy feel. Most brand persons tend to tell you to stay away from it because of its readability. So I think, as Carlton is saying there, It's not that you can't do it. What he's saying is that to make sure that the other elements that's going to couple with it could speak to that. Carlton, thank you so much for joining us. Let them know again, how do they engage with you if they like to get in contact with you? What's the best way for someone to get in contact with you to understand some of the services that Visual Graphic Design Agency offers?
Yeah, so the best way to find out the information is through our website. Everything kind of listed out there in terms of what we offer, contact information, service list and everything, CJLvisuals.com.
All right, so let me just put that link up. I'll put it in the chat as well. So for those that is looking to connect with Carlton and his graphic design agency, just go to CJLvisuals.com. This is the landing page, very beautiful landing page. You get an appreciation of some of their work that they do in terms of motion graphics, product photography, graphics, flyers, logos, and so on. You could click on their contact. From there, you could see their work on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, Carlton. And for those that joined, thank you so much for connecting. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, remember to go to facebook.group/hospitality tools. If you haven't joined the webinar, remember to go to vividconsultant.com webinar. Click and like, subscribe to the YouTube page. If you want to win a hospitality website, not just a hotel, if you're into hospitality, tours, restaurants, and so forth, and you want a chance to get a free hospitality website built and support for a year, very simple. Go to winhospitalitytools.com and enter right there. And at the end of this 4 weeks, we're going to be selecting someone to win a free hospitality website. Whatever it is that you do in the industry, we will help you create your custom built website and support it free for an entire year. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode. We're going to be meeting next week, same time, Tuesdays at 6 p.m., where we're going to be touching different elements on the branding. Enjoy the day, and we will see you next week.